Now, Miss Ladybug and Jade Armor is the same show. In a way, no, they're not the same. They're so different from each side of the spectrum. They are just comical different because the fan base of Miss Ladybug, when they actually saw the first image of Jade Armor, they just keep calling her Rifa, trying to copy Miss Ladybug. And actually, uh, Jade Armor is just so different and unique by itself. It's not really is the same show, so different that it's completely different genre to Miss Ladybug. How different? Well, Miss Ladybug is sort of in the superhero genre, but simply more in the magical sort of type of subgenre. And Miss Jane Armor is more traditional superhero with a modern take on it that make it so refreshing and unique. You can't really compare it. Of course, this isn't the first time a lot of different fans, a lot of different fandom compare other shows to their favorite shows, calling it ripoff. Believe it or not, there is no originality in the industry. There's only ripoffs. But even that said, every time someone copy another show, that is still completely different. One of the biggest comparison is basically Dan the Menace, the American show and the British show. Both of them are just look so similar, similar ideas, similar explanation. When you saw both of them, you'll be surprised how different they really are. Even that they have the same idea, they go completely directions. In fact, the only show I've seen all my life that is a very fair comparison and you have probably a good argument is Lupin and Lupin the Third. These two shows are the same. It's the only two ideas I have seen that is have a fair argument. Even that the very end, Lupin the Third, that is basically stolen from the original Lupin, still goes a completely different direction later years on when the Lupin the Third started in Japan. Because the Lupin, the original, was a European sort of idea that sort of got years old. It's like very long. It's the same age of Sherlock Holmes now works. He has his time to develop, become something unique. But besides that, this might come to the conclusion of why not make a sort of a comparison of Miss Ladybug and Jane Armor, because they're still lingering on some ideas they're very the same, but yet they're so different. In fact, I want to make a sort of a mini series of this, maybe 2 more videos, depends how this video actually does. But besides that, before I actually get started, my name is Rachel. I like to talk about animation, not just animation, do reviews, first impressions, cartoon theories, and sometimes, if I have some spare time, cartoon breaking news. Of course, today I'm going to do something very unique. Before I started, I did like to put a like, comment, and subscribe. If you like what is going, it really helps in my channel because how small I am. One of those things really helps. Just put a comment or like. In fact, I am trying to beat my goal of 1,000 subscribers, and yes, I'm getting closer thanks to people who do like, comment, and subscribe. And little things really helps my channel. And I think it's time to talk about the comparisons of Miss Ladybug and Jade Armor. One of the things that people complain about is basically it's a superhero show exactly like Miss Ladybug. And actually, Miss Ladybug and Jane Armor actually are complete subgenres because the superhero genre has a lot of different versions of it, but a lot of different locations or what type of abilities they actually have sort of dictate the direction of the show will actually go. And Miss Ladybug is sort of fall into the magical genre. In fact, the whole idea of Miss Ladybug is just so different. Well, not the idea, the take, because it does borrow some Japanese kind of superhero kind of Sentai ideas, but it sort of borrows a lot of the American sort of version of the superhero because the American way is sort of was more well known that everybody attempted to copy that sort of superhero sort of direction. Even that the superhero genre been there before the 1920s, it's been there for a long time, but it's sort of more popular in the West, the sort of idea of direction. And this is what maybe Miss Ladybug attempted to do because they try and borrow the superhero genre of the West, a little bit of the Japanese or magical genre, but sort of mix them up and use sort of the old tropes of the superhero, or technically more the magical way of telling stories, but with European lens. That itself make it so unique because when you watch it, you tell me the superhero genre, I can't believe it, but doesn't feel like a Western. It feels not even a Japanese sort of take. It feels more like a European because once again, it is from the Europe sort of sectors in how they approach a sort of film or cartoon direction. That's what it make it so refreshing because it feels just a new kind of take. One of the big examples is especially Miss Ladybug partner, Cat Noir. Every time you have a male lead and a magic girl genre, the male lead usually is a piece of plank of wood. He doesn't have a personality. He's just the pretty boy. And that's all he really is. But this was making it so unique because Cat Noir and Miss Ladybug are actually equal. They actually are important. Both of them has this sort of Romeo and Juliet sort of balance. One is in love with the other, but not the original person, their identity, or their love with the civilian sort of form. And they have this sort of yin and yang sort of circle of love that they would then and would then fall in love. That's what it make it so refreshing because none of the magic girl genre does that or the superhero. Okay, I lied. That's basically kind of true in the West. We do that in the superhero, but not as often or not as extreme as Miss Ladybug. That's basically it. It's almost feel they match both American and Japanese ideas as to one. That sort of what happens if you fall in love like Superman, but you're in love with Lois, but Lois loves Superman, not Clark. And that sort of the interesting take of Miss Ladybug. That sort of unique perspective if you don't live in the same culture, that you don't actually understand the culture, but you see sort of weird things that could work for you because they're not being used that specific genre. And that's sort of the sort of advantage they have creating this new topic genre because it's so unique and refreshing that you can't deny why it was so popular. It just have sort of great ideas. Even that Miss Ladybug herself, that sort of kind of generic magical genre type of main lead, that she sort of clumsily, she doesn't know what to do, she's sort of awkward. That's sort of a cliche in the magical girl genre. Specifically Sailor Moon, even that Sailor Moon is not the person who created the original magical girl genre. She just sort of submitted the popularity, in other words. It also had that sort of repetitiveness of the superhero magic girl problem that the evil villain take a piece of the villain and repeat that, not knowing who is the main villain and just building up to it. And that's sort of the only sort of traditional thing of the magic girl genre Miss Ladybug does, but it sort of does it as sort of trying to hold up the story for a little while to figure out what to do next. And that's sort of the only minor complaint, but there are more, but that's sort of the main one because how much filler actually has. But besides that, that's what makes Miss Ladybug so refreshing and unique. All this odd takes, even with the, I think, Chinese or Japanese mythology, I'm not 100% sure, correct me down below if you want, that they borrowed that to Miss Ladybug to make this sort of magical girl transformation. Now, remember everything I said about Miss Ladybug. Now compare this to Jade Armor. Jade Armor is more traditional American sort of take of a superhero. That sort of generations of superhero that Jade Armor, our heroine, must become the Jade Armor because her mother was the original Jade Armor, one of dozens of them. And now she had a responsibility to become one. But she didn't know this was a thing. In fact, the whole family knows except for her. And that would basically make it so kind of refreshing because that is more like a Japanese kind of thing, sort of storytelling. Sorry, let me rephrase it. It's like Chinese. I think the main heroine of Jade Armor is Chinese. Please correct me down below. I'm a little off today, so yeah, let's continue on. In the superhero slash their take, not words, but almost like an American, this is your destiny. This is your legacy. You must take it. That sort of approach. But at the same time, it makes it so refreshing and different from Miss Ladybug is Jade Armor go into the steps of understanding her guilt, her duty, honor her duty to become the next Jade Armor because that's her legacy. She cannot run away with it. She must do this, but lovingly, she's not guilty becoming. She wants to become because she does love her mother, even she was passed away in the series. But this is the thing, she doesn't know what to do. She doesn't know she's prepared. You think that's sort of very traditional, but each episode sort of kind of give her a reason why she become a heroine, why she must take this lantern, not because of her birthright, it's because she want to honor her own mother. And that's sort of kind of refreshing because not a lot of superheroes do that, only maybe in the Japanese sort of sector. But besides that, you get the idea how different how it is, how not really the same as Miss Ladybug. Miss Ladybug was chosen, never was a legacy character. Jade Armor was a legacy character, that she understanding more things the show comes in. Especially she has not one but 4 or 5 different magical creatures who help her transform or use her abilities to take the evil villain. The fact specifically take little shards of the main villain to transform the bad guy, the full transformation. But that is sort of unique. This is so unique that they use that sort of idea built as the bad guy who he really is in his family. In fact, this would make it so stands out with rest of superheroes because you do follow 3 types of family: Jade Armor, the main villain, and another group of family who are a bunch of crooks. Sort of compare and contrast who they actually are, and compare to Jade, her destiny becoming a Jade Armor who really wanted to become the Jade Armor, the other 2 family sectors who doesn't want to. And that is sort of interesting. Yet, let me ask you this question right now. Till this sounds like a riff-off to Miss Ladybug, or still feels so different? Even that, you have 2 different things that adds on to Jade as a character in Jade Armor. One of them actually has that sort of video game sort of idea. I mean, video game, when the first episode starts, she had to get sort of a piece of shard in a bell tower that she needs to get it, but she doesn't understand her abilities. In fact, she has fire, wind, speed, and all the different magic abilities add up to her, almost like an RPG. But she doesn't know how to use them correctly. She does it a couple of dozen times to actually get to the bell tower. But how she uses it as sort of like a video game sort of logic. Like, if I use fire, wind, and earth, by using different combinations at different times, I can get to that sort of position I need to be. And that's what it made it so different and refreshing, because Miss Ladybug doesn't technically does that. That's what's so unique. The second most unique thing of Jade Armor is the fact she actually knows martial arts. And Miss Ladybug doesn't really focus on hand-to-hand combat. They use main punches and kicks, but never really specifically use a art style to define it. Jade Armor actually does. The fact that's the whole point of Jade Armor, she had to know Kung Fu to actually fight the evil villain. Not just him, multiple different sectors of villains who want a piece of the chart to complete their full power. Even that, it goes in deeper understanding what this chart it really is in making the main villain more stronger, but slowly, that you don't notice at first, but little by little you just notice that. You understand the relationship, how this chart actually is affecting people. It was her responsibility to take it down. Even that, it actually has an extra layer of mystery of Jade Armor, what actually happened to Jade's mom. That we all know in the very beginning of the series that she passed away on her last battle, but it actually questioned if she's still alive. Maybe she could lead different direction. Maybe she is hiding for some apparent reason. We don't know. On top of everything else, her friends and family know who she is and what she does, and also attempted to compensate every time Jade disappears in her normal life. Even that really doesn't help as much, but they're actually willing to help. That's why I mean this show is sort of very kind of traditional American way of telling superhero genres, but more like a European kind of take. Yet it's still very different to Miss Ladybug because you compare and contrast, this still stands out all the little things they keep adding on. And that's what makes it sort of unique that it just feels refreshing. It's more modern take of it in other words. And that's what makes Jade Armor so refreshing because have so many different elements that I just want to know more. Even that has also a Romeo and Juliet sort of relationship, one of the main villains in Jane Armor. The sort of question that she actually go for it or take her responsibility. That's the only thing you can compare to Miss Ladybug. Has that sort of kind of take, but Miss Ladybug thought more a romantic rom-com sort of take. That's what make it so different with other superheroes. Even you compare that to sort of Spider-Man does that or Batman. Miss Ladybug goes into more kind of harem sort of territory a little bit, but yet saying that you can't really compare it to Jane Armor because the martial art, the magic, how they use the magic as sort of a RPG sort of way to solve their problems. Miss Ladybug goes to a completely different direction. It's trying to make it sort of kind of traditional but more European superhero by accident. But a point of the level is sort of comedic by accident. Like you can't show your face if your true face of your heroine. If you do, her abilities loses or something. It's sort of trying to push that sort of logic in Miss Ladybug became sort of comedic, if I make sense, because I think I didn't. Yeah, I'm sorry, but that's what make it sort of unique and funny. They're trying to follow the rules, and yet they sort of make it kind of comical by accident. I don't know if it's because of how it's written, but it's sort of something goes that direction. Even that Miss Ladybug has one of the biggest advantage, has 5 seasons and 2 more seasons ongoing, even for special and a movie. Jade Armor only has 1 season and a video game coming soon. But you understand what's the difference of both of them. Like there is clear day and night. One feels like Jane Armor, like a very traditional American superhero, that Miss Ladybug feels more want to be American but accidentally becomes European. Not by accident, it's sort of how you were raised to make your own kind of film or cartoon. The more culture you have your own where you live, the more you borrow around where you live, in other words, if I make sense. But besides that, that's what makes it so bafflingly weird that people compare this to, that even they are so different. They are just dang like different. But yeah, I can see why. It's sort of the habit to compare things, to understand them, to understand which is better. At least in my opinion, I think the best one is Jade Armor for one simple reason, is that they know what they want in the very beginning. Miss Ladybug, good. One of the biggest complaints of that series is sort of repetitiveness and sort of they didn't know where to go at first because they sort of shocking how popular it was in the very beginning. That wasn't expecting it. It's sort of obvious to see the first 2 seasons. This one has a lot of fillers. So much it's sort of shocking. And Jade Armor was prepared for the popularity. They were sort of maybe expecting it, but at the same time, they know what they wanted. They actually well more executed. It's more better handled, at least in my honest opinion. But you can't say Jade Armor is sort of slow. They needed to pick up a little bit faster. Not the same speed of Miss Ladybug, because that's sort of one of the biggest problems. Miss Ladybug, it's just so fast. I mean, goddamn, calm down. Let us breathe a little bit. But besides that, these shows are just so different, but yet both of them actually are good. In fact, I'm just surprised how unique some of the ideas they actually borrow. But other than that, I don't think I have much to say. Just want to talk about, just to compare and contrast. It's just sort of a conversation. In fact, you think they're still the same show or very different. At least this video could convince you they're just so different and completely outrageous claims. But it's something that's just food for thought. Just to understand, sometimes you go the same idea or borrow or steal the same idea. It doesn't mean you're going the same direction. The fact both of them are complete sub different direction. One is more a new genre they created, sort of a European magical girl, Japanese American direction, and the Jade Armor is more kind of traditional but mashed with a lot of different unique modern ideas. It became a sort of brand new subgenre, in other words. And that's basically it, I think. In fact, what do you think? Do I miss something to compare it or not? Just tell me down below. Let me know. I got nothing else to say. Just thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and have a wonderful day. Bye.